If you're producing a showcase, then you have to think about what's your goal of the showcase. Is the goal to showcase to, obviously show this work to people and then take it to the next level. Hopefully it'll engender backing at some level. Okay, so that means then finding a space, assuming that you've done the work, that you've got an entertaining piece. Okay. We're assuming that that's been done already, that you've got it on paper, you've got an entertaining piece that might have had 1 or 2 stage readings in somebody's house, or it's somebody's rehearsal room in a building somewhere where you had a couple of people and you wordsmithed it to the point where it's okay, it's ready to go up. Now we're going to produce this thing. Okay, so we're assuming that that work's been done. Okay, so now the next step is finding a venue, right? And that's going to be and you want to find a venue that is not going to break the bank, but at the same time it's a venue that will attract the people you want to bring there. Now, so you have to figure out, okay, how do you want to do that? What's your budget? You got to have a budget. At some level you got to have a budget. And then you say, okay, let's say we're going to do an under 50-seat theater. Okay, we're going to do a 49-seat theater. Okay, so then you say, well, who do I want to come to this besides friends and family? I mean, if the idea of the showcase is not only to showcase your actors in the production, but also to impress people enough to say, this is a good story, it's entertaining, let's take it to the next level, then you want to invite people to that can do that or have contacts. So then you have to start looking at, well, casting directors, mainly that'll be for a lot of the actors that are in your show, because these casting directors will see that. But think about who produces shows in the city that you're in. These theater production people around, How do you find them out? Well, you got to get into the artistic community and find out, like in New York, you find out who books these off-Broadway shows. You can find this information out through various artist groups. And there's several in the city, and they have lists of these people. And then you send them emails. You've got to have a little bit of marketing material to entice them. Maybe you've taken some stills from the show or a video clip, that you did sort of a mock part of the show already to entice them to come see this thing. That, and maybe hit them with a couple of bullet points about how, it's very cost effective, this show, we can really take it, it's not labor intensive. A rule of thumb, I think, used to be, still is maybe, if you're going to do a straight show, you want under 7 characters on stage in New York City, because if it goes off-Broadway, that's a high labor, they don't want a labor cost. If it's going to be a musical extravaganza, that's a whole other ball game, okay? But if you're doing for the straight shows, under 7 is usually a rule of thumb. You'll notice a lot of the Broadway straight shows, unless they've got a high-end celebrity actor, actress running it, they're under 7. Having gone to many of these off-Broadway shows, and I'd make a note in the playbill who produced it, and I'd look them up, particularly if it was a show I liked, or if it was in the genre that I liked. And I would go out and look at shows, particularly showcase shows in the area, or off-Broadway shows, off-Broadway shows that were done in the area that had some production value to it in terms of money behind it, or even some of the off-Broadway stuff like at New World Stages and things like that. And I would see who's producing that genre. And then I would find out where they're located. And then I would either drop off something in person, or I would get their email address. Another way to work it is if you're developing a show through a theater group. And there's several theater groups in New York City that one can get involved with as a playwright, as a producer, to help co-produce a show through a theater group. And that just takes a lot more time to develop. I mean, there's a lot of development collegial time that one has to do. But if you find yourself that you're happy in that kind of theatrical group, then you can develop works through them. And then there's co-production sharing there. So.